Bikes, beers, beaches, it's a blazing hot Roc D'Aazur. Come and join us because we've got some genuinely new e-mountain bikes. Okay guys, let's kick things off with Decathlon ROCKRIDER bikes. Now we've historically seen these bikes with Brose motors here at Roc D'Aazur. Very exciting news that there's a new EP600 motor on these bikes. 630 watt-hour battery, 29-inch wheels, 160mm travel. These bikes start, this is the E-Field 700S, there's a 900 as well, but this one, the 700 version, starts at 4,399. Fantastic spec, fantastic motor, great range, boom. Gitane from in between Paris and Troyes, did I get that right? Not actually seen them before, but apparently they've been making e-mountain bikes or e-bikes for 20 years, beginning with city bikes. This is the G1 Black Hill FS Limited. Now, this company make bikes with Bosch CX motors, and I'm going to show you some SX motors over here. 750 watt battery, 29-inch wheels, 150, 160mm travel, and the price of this bike, 6,299 euros. I'm going to show you now some of the SX bikes as well. All right, G1 Black Forest FS2 Bosch SX with a 140mm travel front and rear, 29-inch wheels. Again, 400 watt-hour battery, 4,399 euros, 21.8 kilos. Samuel Péridy is a multiple Mega Avalanche winner and multi-time World Masters Downhill champion. He's going to tell you about the Roc D'Aazur history.
Oh, my God, it's a long story. Now,
where did it begin? How long has it been going?
I think the next time is 40 years now. So it's a long story for the Roc D'Aazur. And I've been for my first time 35 years ago. Yeah, it was not here. It was not at Fréjus. It was at Ramatuelle, near the beach, like here. And it was, yeah, it's a long story because it was, remember, if you know guys, the first race, it was 7 people. 7 people on the start.
And how many riders are in the race now?
Now, around 20,000. Around 20,000. Yeah, on 5 days, okay? But yeah, so it's huge, very huge.
Thanks, Samuel.
You're welcome.
Now, last year we rode the Pivot Shuttle SL, 130, 150mm travel, one of the most fun e-mountain bikes I've ridden out there. But I'm pleased to tell you, they also do a Pivot Shuttle AM with the Bosch CX motor in there, 750 watt-hour battery. What's cool about the Pivot bikes, you've got the travel just on the top of the down tube there. So this is 148mm travel rear, and I think 150mm up front. Full carbon frame, top tube display there, mini remote, boom. These e-bike specific?
Sorry?
E-bike specific?
E-bike, no.
They're not?
It's bike, sport endurance.
Okay, I see. It's okay, that's fine. KTM Machina Scarp SX Exonic. I think I got that right, didn't I? 16.5 kilos. I mean, why would you buy a mountain bike which is 14 kilos when you can get a bike like this with a 400 watt-hour battery, the new Bosch SX motor, which is, I think it's, is it 500 or 600 watts? I don't know, it's 55 newton meters. What's interesting about the SX motor, we rode it back to back with the full power 85 newton meter CX bike. And if you spin at the right cadence, around 120 RPM, you can actually keep up with the full power motor. Anyway, I'm getting distracted. This bike, 140mm travel, front, 29-inch wheels, and I am so looking forward to getting on some Bosch SX bikes next year. So we saw it in Eurobike. Great to see it here again in the flesh at Roc D'Aazur. 2nav, it's huge. One of the fastest, punchiest e-mountain bike motors in the market, the Polini EP3 Plus MX, 2,950 grams, 90 newton meters, and also one of the best, most self-serviceable motors on the market, as we've seen with our friends at Berkshire Cycles in the UK. Do love a good story about progression, evolution. Rode the first Lapierre E-Zesty here in Roc D'Aazur. 5-6 years ago. The new Rise 60 definitely got more power to it, more kick. And then of course we've got the Heckler SL. We saw the colourful version earlier. If you take a look at this silver finish is, wow, stunning. Santa Cruz say the new Heckler SL is the lightest, most powerful, longest range e-mountain bike in its class. And having spent 2 fantastic days in the Jura Mountain on this bike, I am not going to disagree. It's actually opened my eyes into how you can actually use a mid-power e-mountain bike to its full potential. The ability to change direction and at the same time proper downhill plantedness. This is some bike. Wow, the first time we're going to see actually in the flesh the range of new GasGas ECC bikes, the 4, 5 and 6. Beginning with the 4, this bike comes with RockShox suspension front and rear. You do have the SRAM Brose motor on it, but as the guys here say, classical shifting. There's no auto shift or coast shift available on the bike without the T-type transmission. Still, it's a stunning bike. This is the actual bike shot in the video a few days ago. If you've not checked it out, go and have a look at it. 29-inch wheels, 170, 160. Let's go and have a look at the 5 and the 6. This is now where we move into the bikes with auto shift and coast shift, and the reason for that, as I mentioned, is because it's got the GX T-type transmission on there, and WP suspension, which has been done in collaboration with DVO. So we've got new base valve with cone valve technology. What can I say about WP? I was always a big fan when I rode motocross bikes and trials bikes back in the 1980s. Leave it. So yeah, I think this bike, but I think it's this 6 version, which is the standout bike of the show, definitely of the year. Huge interest in this bike at Roc D'Aazur. This is the top end bike, which is the 6. Now, I started with the 4, that's 8,000 euros. The 5 is 9,000, and this is 10,000 euros. The difference on this bike compared to the 5 is you've got Newman wheels, obviously proper gravity tyres, still 29 front and rear, 170, 160. Quite interesting actually. Some of the team riders, I think it was Alex Marin, actually did stick a 27.5 wheel in the back of this, so it is doable. And as you can see here, you can see that really neat SRAM Brose logo on there. Again, WP suspension front and rear. This time we've got Axis XO with the wireless dropper, which can be accessed via those very neat pods up front. So again, on this bike, you just got two cables there. So I think that has got to be the future of e-mountain bikes. Super clean front of house. What are you going to say for yourself? What are you going to say for yourself? Huh? What are you going to say for yourself? What do you mean? What do you mean? Yes, I know. I can see it's a Lapierre. You like a Lapierre? Huh? Don't lick. That's the first dog that's licked my thingy. If you'd asked me what I was doing 26 years ago, I was riding one of these at downhill races. Giant ATX One DH 151 boxers. Oh, happy memories. And you know what? It's actually probably weighs about the same weight as a mid-power e-mountain bike of today. I do love a good flat pedal. Now, Crankbrothers do 3 versions of their stamp. They do an aluminium version, a magnesium version, and a plastic version. More than that, they actually do large and small, and of course, they come in different colorways as well. Quite like this red shoe with a silver pedal. What do you guys think? Just a reminder, we did a video a few weeks ago on what's the perfect bikes for big mountain adventures. So, yes, like I said, just a reminder that the Norco range comes in alloy and carbon, 170mm travel and a 900 watt-hour battery option. They also do a short travel sight, again 900 watt-hours, this time 150, 160.
Ahora. Reparación. Hala. Ya está. Finito.
Not a bad deal. Rossignol Mandate 2, got a Zeb fork, E13 wheels, Shimano EP801 motor. Just over 5,000 euros. Nice. There's a lecture going on here about the new Eagle powertrain. Notice the age of the people watching the discussion. No, carry on. It's fine. Don't worry about me.
What's the age of us?
These guys are quite young looking at e-bikes, right?
And what's the problem?
There's no problem.
E-bikes for everybody.
Absolutely. Excusez-moi, Yannick Pontal. Could you tell me when your transition repeater is going to be available to buy?
Pretty soon. I don't have the date, but it will come.
10th of October.
You know better than me.
Now, you might have seen on the channel the last few weeks, we featured 2 bikes featuring the new SRAM Eagle powertrain. One is the Nukeproof Megawatt Carbon, and the other one is the GasGas ECC range. 2 others I want to show you. First one is the Propain eCarno CF, 170mm travel, and also this one over here, the transition repeater, as used by Yannick Pontal. As I mentioned a minute ago, the launch date of this bike is the 10th of October. But as you well know, it's been at the races, it's been at the shows. The other interesting fact is tomorrow on the channel, we've got a weigh-in of all the pros e-mounted bikes with different capacity batteries, different wheel sizes, different travel. So tune in into that tomorrow to get a good insight into the actual weights of e-mounted bikes. On the subject of adventure-style e-mounted biking, which we covered a few weeks ago on the channel, I would say choosing the right seat is super important. We've just come past the Fizik stand, and they've got this Terra Idon. Now, it comes in 2 different widths, 145 and 160. But as you can see, the shape, the profile of it, a bit of a scoop on the back. But more than that, they've actually got this area here. So when you're climbing up super techy ground, it's good to get your butt right on the front of the seat. So something that's going to be pointy is not very good. So shape of the saddle, super important for e-mountain bike climbing. Next year, being the 40th anniversary of Roc D'Aazur, what bikes in the festival at the moment existed back then? I think Specialized was probably one of them. The first stump jumper. What era was that? Was that 1979, 1980? Anyway, also e-mountain bikes. E-mountain bikes weren't even in people's dreams back then. Although you could probably say Yamaha did have e-bikes in the Far East in the 1980s. But yeah, folks, how things have changed. I mean, this is now state-of-the-art mountain bikes for sure. You might have seen us riding the Giant Stance and the Trance this year. 2 motors, the Sync Drive Pro and the Sync Drive Sport. One's 85 Newton meters, the other one's 75 Newton meters. Interestingly, the lower powered one actually went up our hill climb challenge faster. But what I'm thinking about while I'm going around the show is what's coming next year? Well, it's this part of the show where I get to ask you guys, what do you think? Bottecchia Quasar Evo. Thoughts? Now, I always say there's a brand which I've never heard of at bike shows. Never heard of Montana. Never heard of Olmo before, which is the brand which is part of Montana. This company was actually established in the 1960s, so a brand that would have been around when Roc D'Aazur was here 40 years ago. Now, a few weeks ago, we was in an area called Valmira, which is west of Cuneo in northwest Italy, which is where Olmo's from. This is a full Italian bike, Polini EP3 MX motor. We've got Formula suspension, 711 watt-hour battery. Now, this bike is €8,000, but it's actually cheaper in Italy. 170mm travel. There you go. Wow, some good kit. I think the Decathlon ROCKRIDER is genuinely good news for a lot of people with that EP801 motor and a price is starting at €3,500. Folks, get yourselves down to the Rock. Next year is going to be its 40th anniversary. So like I said, you've got the bikes, you've got the beers, you've got the beaches and some great weather.